Welcome, everybody, to the Live Louder podcast. I'm Scott.
And I'm Melodie. Happy
And
Saturday.
We are the Loud Livers. How's that? We're the Loud Livers.
I like that.
Yeah, happy Saturday. Our first live show. Hopefully you caught our pilot show the other day. If you didn't, you can always go to our website. That's right. We got a website. Don't get excited. There's not much to it yet. But livelouderpodcast.com. You can go to our website, and all of our shows will be listed there after they air. So our first show is on there if you want to watch it. You could also go to YouTube, soberlifestudios.com. You can go to our Facebook pages, and it's going to be on our Facebook pages. While you're watching the show, please know that if you comment, we will see it. We've already got a comment coming up here. Nellie says, hey.
Hi, Nellie. Good morning.
Thanks, Nellie. Should we call her Nellie or
Janelle?
Can we say that
Sure.
her real name is Janelle? I know. Nellie, it's a stretch. Hides it, really. But no, Janelle, thanks for joining us. I know there's going to be other people joining us. And if you put your comments in, we can see them. We can react to them. And we can talk about them. Melodie, how you doing, darling?
I am doing so awesome. I've been so excited. I could hardly sleep, but I feel very energized. I'm looking forward to one of my favorite topics, music.
Music. And listen, every topic we talk about is all going to come around to the same thing, which is living louder, being happier, doing what you love doing, coming out of your shell, getting unstuck from your stuckness. Music is one of the most universal ways for people to change their mood, motivate themselves. Just think about it. When you go to the gym, what do you see everybody doing?
Got their headphones on, listening to their favorite beats to get motivated and inspired.
Exactly. And there's some music. And this actually has a physical change on you. We're going to talk about all the benefits and stuff. But that's why we're talking about music. We're not just talking. Plus, we're always seriously unserious. And there's always going to be some fun involved.
For sure.
So your comments on your favorite music, your favorite concerts, and maybe even a couple of those songs that if you never heard it again, you'd be very, very happy. The ones that just, they play to death and you never want to hear it again.
Or one of those that just bring you back to that moment in time where you just had that magical moment. It just felt like life was the best and you just couldn't get enough.
Yeah, exactly. Do you realize that the music you listen to between the ages of 12 and 15 has the most impact on your life than any other music?
I believe that.
And it's got to do with, one, you're still kind of influenced by your parents' music. You're starting to become influenced by the people around you, and then you're starting to develop your own taste in music. And all that stuff is happening in this couple of year period. So all of this stuff is very meaningful. So we always kind of go back to that time. So 14-year-old Melodie was listening to what?
The Billboard Countdown. Remember the Billboard Countdowns that they would do every week? They would talk about
I was a Casey Kasem guy.
Yes.
But yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I was always looking forward to that number one song. You know, they would announce the number one song for the week. And I always looked forward to that and the great exposure that you had to all the up and coming artists. So I was always looking forward to those things.
Was there one artist that you dressed like and kind of wanted to be like? I mean,
I went through my phases. There was so many. Stevie Nicks was just so ahead of her time. I just loved the way that she carried herself, and she was such a strong, independent woman and a singer, and she was just phenomenal.
Not to mention one of the most beautiful people. Just. Not beautiful. Yes, beautiful on the outside, beautiful on the inside. The way she moved was just like.
Yes. Oh, just beautiful. Man. What about you? What about you, Scott?
Oh, Kiss.
Yes.
It was Kiss. It was Peter Frampton. Frampton Comes Alive.
Frampton Comes Alive.
One of the greatest albums ever made. Had a huge influence on my music that I listened to. Also, early Genesis with Peter Gabriel. Things like that. So I was into all sorts of different things, but probably number one for me was Kiss. Now I spent a lot of time at the skating rink. So guys like Billy Squier were always a part of that too, because you can't skate in the skating rink unless you're skating to Stroke Me.
Oh my goodness. And when I was down here in South Florida, back in the days when they had, some of you may be watching, Peach's record shops, and I was working next door at a woman's boutique, and Billy Squier was there signing records, and the manager let me come in, and I was able to sign a record. And also I got tickets to his show. It was phenomenal. So that was my first time actually meeting, I guess, a celebrity rock star in person. And it was,
cool.
during the 80s. It was fun.
I wonder whatever happened to him.
I have no idea.
We're going to have to do a little deep dive and find out where is Billy Squier. Because he had like that one album. Everything was great. Maybe two.
Mm-hmm.
He was on fire. He was kind of like Loverboy at
yes,
the time. Remember
yes, of course. I saw them in concert too.
They were kind of all part of this group of people that all showed up and then they all disappeared at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It was, you know what? I blame Steve Perry. When he left Journey, a lot of people just says, I'm not doing music anymore.
Wow. Journey actually was probably one of the best concerts I've ever been to in my life. Hearing Steve Perry sing was unbelievable. And if you've never seen a live Journey concert with Steve Perry as a frontman, you had missed out because he was just amazing. Absolutely. He made Journey.
I would put that at one of my top, but I got a few others, but I'll tell you, number one is just Queen with Freddie Mercury. Just
Did you see them?
What?
You saw them?
Yes. Syracuse, New York at the Carrier Dome.
Oh my gosh.
Saw Queen when Freddie Mercury. Oh wait, no, this was at the War Memorial. Maybe this was right after Another One Bites the Dust came out. And
wow,
it was the Queen. The album was called The Game, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But all of their hits. He came out in this red jumpsuit and he did Jailhouse Rock and he did an Elvis song just to start.
Really?
And we're all just sitting there and our jaws dropped. We're all these young guys, probably stoned at the time. But, but it woke me up and I was like, this guy is freaking. Never have I seen an artist where their voice sounds better live than it does on an album.
Yes.
Until I saw Freddie Mercury.
Wow. Acapella to the max, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know who is really good too?
Nelly says yes, Janelle. Samantha J says good morning.
Good morning.
And Sandy Mom says hi, kids.
Hey, Sandy Mom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. Now, what were we going to say?
Another phenomenal singer in person was Boston, the lead singer for Boston. He was great. And I was front row center. I was at the Hollywood Sportatorium, which was in Pembroke Pines. Back in the day, it was in the middle of a cow field. There was like nothing there except for this gigantic, huge
Was it like a concert venue?
It was a huge concert venue. Major people played there. The Rolling Stones, Kiss, everybody played there.
I've heard the name, but obviously that's
we had two venues in the 80s and 90s, right? It's totally gone. And I don't even know what's there anymore. It's probably a shopping center now. But the Hollywood Sportatorium, just to get there, you had to go miles and miles into like cow country. And then we had the Sunrise Musical Theater, which is now a faith-based center, but that was also another venue. And that's where I saw like Def Leppard, Ozzy Osbourne, Journey. I mean, I saw so many incredible people there. That was a smaller venue. But the Hollywood Sportatorium was just irreverent. I mean, they had the biggest players that you've ever seen.
Samantha says early 2000s, Tool performed incredible concert. What, you saw it?
No, my sister saw them. She said, yeah, my sister loved that. Tool, Alice in Chains. I mean, those were some other, 2000s.
Yeah.
Players, but yeah.
But music is, I love concerts. And we were just talking, between the two of us, we've probably seen nearly 200 shows.
At least.
Well, if I count all the cover bands I've seen, it's over 200 for sure.
But leaving outside the cover, because I've been a ton of cover bands as well.
Which are just
concerts.
You know what? The cover bands, I'm going to tell you something. People don't go to cover bands. You should. And here's why. You're never going to get a chance to stand right on the edge of the stage and dance and interact with the members of the Eagles. But in a cover band, you can. So you're getting the same music. You're getting 90% of the time. Every once in a while, there's a few duds. But down here in South Florida, they're all quality. You're getting excellent music. They're doing an excellent representation of the sound and the voices. And you get to do stuff you would never do at a real concert. Right. When I saw Freddie Mercury, I was up, I
nosebleed.
Oh yeah. Birds were flying by saying shit's too high and they were going down. I was way up there, but I saw it. I had the goggles or the binoculars, but it was awesome. But I got to see a Queen cover band and I got to be like right up there and part of the music and dancing and they're interacting with you. so cover bands are cool. You really get to honor the music that you love, and you get to participate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's why I love them so much.
Yeah.
I love going to my friend over there at Galuppi's. The great guys. They always have great cover bands. They have a great outdoor setup.
See, I never heard of this place, so I'm gonna have to check it out. I really don't know anything about.
I'll take you over. There's a lot of people. Okay, we got a couple people joining in here. Crystal Medley says, "Good morning, team. Love Journey. Got to see them one time, but with a new lead singer. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name.
Yes, and they found him through YouTube
in the Philippines. Yes. He was in a cover band.
That was incredible, and he's phenomenal.
Oh, and apparently, the story is." Neil Sean, the guitarist and the real founder of Journey, Steve Perry didn't found it. He came much later after the band was together.
Right.
But Neil Sean called this guy. It's Armin, I think, is his first name. And said, I'm from Journey and I want to talk to you. And the guy hung up on him because he thought it was a joke. It took him forever to actually get this guy to talk to him. And then one time apparently came in for one audition, got halfway through one song, and they said, this is the guy.
Yeah.
And he is amazing.
Phenomenal.
He's amazing. He's like 3 foot tall. No, seriously, he's a small guy. But this booming voice comes out of him.
Yes.
It's not Steve Perry, but it's damn close.
Booming voices. So booming voices, another one, Chris Cornell.
Oh, now he passed away.
Yeah, he passed away.
About
he
5-6 years
died
ago.
by suicide. But he was phenomenal. I was supposed to see him close to, I don't know, right before he passed away. He was supposed to come and perform here, and he was doing a one-man show, and I was so excited. And then he canceled at the last minute.
Oh, yeah. What band was it?
He was with the Audio Slave originally.
Okay.
Which was phenomenal. One of my favorite rock bands as well. But I never got a chance to see them.
Wow.
But he was just epic. His voice is just mind-blowing. Was mind-blowing.
Let's see. Samantha says, loved Police Synchronicity album. I've never been a Police fan.
Okay.
I like Sting. I love their voice. Englishman in New York is probably I love that one. But I just never been a huge Police fan.
Okay.
But they make great music. They do.
My first big stadium style concert was seeing the Police. I didn't know who they were. I was 12 years old. I had just moved down from Vermont to South Florida. And
12 years old. So that was like 7 years ago.
And my friend's like, hey, my uncle's a security guard at the Orange Bowl. Do you want to go see the Police? I'm like, sure, why not? So we get down there first thing in the morning. We're there the entire day. So we were in a mosh pit, 2 12-year-olds in a mosh pit in front of Sting, in front of the Police. And it was just amazing. It was such an amazing experience. We spent the entire day outside, but it felt like 2 seconds. And they were actually really phenomenal.
It's amazing when that happens, when you go to see somebody and not expecting much and then they blow you away.
And it was the Orange Bowl, which was amazing too.
I got to finish her comment. She said, obviously she loved the Police album, a staple of my youth and very thoughtful lyrics. Yes, of course. The Police wrote beautiful music. I just wasn't a huge fan. Crystal says, Adam David and the group at the Recovery Unplugged just did an Aerosmith cover, and it's absolutely incredible. All the people over at Recovery Unplugged using music as a way to reach people, fantastic. I knew one of the owners years ago. I've crossed paths with Richie Supa many times, and some good people over there. They do really good work, and using music to light people up. That's kind of what we're talking about, and they're using that as one of the bases. It's not the only thing they do. You don't go in there and play guitar and your life changes, but they use that as a big part of what they do, and it's huge. It really is very good. Very good. Karen Hurley, business partner and friend.
Hi, Karen.
Hi, all. Great show. Good.
Thank you.
Should we stop now? Because people are happy. We don't want to mess it up. Let's see. Christina H. Eddie Vedder is a poet and a genius.
Oh,
always great. Too.
So I never saw Pearl Jam, but my sister saw Eddie Vedder in concert when he was down at the Broward Performing Arts, and she and her husband, he wasn't an Eddie Vedder fan, but afterwards he was an Eddie Vedder fan, and now anytime that he's coming in concert, they want to go see him. But I did see that Pearl Jam's going to be coming in to the Hard Rock pretty soon as well.
Wow.
I've never seen Pearl Jam. I would like to see them.
Wow. Eddie Vedder has that voice that's unforgettable, very, very distinguishable. When you hear his voice, you know. When you hear Pearl Jam, you know it's Pearl Jam. When you hear him, you know it's him. And it's just very distinct. Everybody can sound like anybody. I mean, during the highlight of the 80s hair bands, 90% of the singers sounded alike. There was a lot of things. But it was the ones who were really different and special that stood out. Like Dee Snider had a very interesting voice in Twisted Sister. And, even David Lee Roth. I mean, you know, he looked like one of the long hair guys.
Yes.
He had long hair. But his voice was so different.
One
of the few people
he's not the best singer.
He's one of the few people that brought his accent into his singing. Hey, that's a question. I love the Beatles. You like the Beatles? A lot of people love the Beatles. I love a lot of English bands, Rolling Stones, and a lot of these plays. They speak with English accents, but they sing like they were born in Montana. They lose their accent when they sing.
It's true. Never thought about that.
All over the place. How does that happen? That's crazy. Okay, let's see. Nellie says, no way. I would love to see them. I think she's talking about Pearl Jam. And let's see. All right, we got a new one, Samantha. 3 days prior to the potential onslaught of Hurricane Doreen, my wife and I attended a Rolling Stones concert at the start of their encore Gimme Shelter. It
great
started
song.
raining, an unparalleled moment. So right when they were doing
Gimme Shelter is my favorite
raining.
Song by the Stones.
That's my ringtone on my phone.
It is?
Yeah, that's my ringtone on my phone.
I didn't know that.
It's one of my favorite songs. Absolutely. But all these things. Have you ever gone to a concert and just like been so absolutely disappointed?
Oh, too many times.
Like, what was one of your biggest disappointments?
It was Van Halen when they had Sammy Hagar. So, I saw Van Halen when it was David Lee Roth, when that gentleman right there played Eruption. And so,
God rest Eddie Van Halen. Let me tell you, wow.
Seeing him was just amazing. Yeah. So then when we went to see Van Halen again, and then it was Sammy Hagar. So
you saw him with David Lee Roth and with Sammy.
Yeah. And Sammy Hagar was just,
That's tough.
It was rough. And I'm trying to think of any that I really thought would be phenomenal that just didn't really turn out that great.
For me, it was the Grateful Dead.
Really?
With Jerry, before Jerry died.
Why?
Because it was like watching a group of guys get together and warm up for 4 hours. They just jammed. They wouldn't play their big hits. That was like one of their pet peeves. Every once in a while, you might hear them do Uncle John's Band or St. Stephen or one of the big ones. But most of the time, they won't play them. They just say, if you want to hear that, buy the album. We're here to entertain. And they just jam. And then they sing a few songs, and they do cover songs. I mean, they did really cool covers of different songs, but I was so disappointed just because it took so much for me to get the tickets. My wife at the time was a huge Dead fan, and I had to go all over the place to get tickets. And we were able to get really good. We were in the first 10 rows, and it was a good moment. But then I sat there and I was like, I really wanted to get out of there after a half hour.
I bet.
It was just that.
It just was very.
Now, conversely, I took Therese, my best friend, Therese. We were together at the time, engaged. And I wanted to get her a present. So I got her tickets to Pink. And I thought, well, this is for her. This isn't for me. This is for her. So we went, and I got really good. We were on the side of the stage, and we were, just a little bit back, and
phenomenal, right?
One of the best concerts I ever saw in my life.
She is an incredible performer.
Incredible. Her voice is so powerful.
Yes.
And the way that they just transition from the one song to the next, it all made sense. Sometimes people are just like, okay, then we're going to play this, and then we're going to play this. This was almost like a movie, the way the whole thing came together. It was the Beautiful Trauma tour.
Yeah. I would like to see her in concert.
If she ever comes around,
yes,
it is a ticket worth buying.
Really?
She is that good. That good. Even had a little girl from the audience come up and sing with her. And just neat stuff. It's just cool stuff.
Is there any other female singers that you've seen that that you thought were phenomenal? I mean, Cher. Wow. Cher. You saw Cher?
Yes. I saw Cher, and it was not that long ago. It was only about 6-7 years ago. And it was one of her last tours. And I'd never been to a concert where there's so many wheelchairs and walkers in my life. Seriously. Seriously. I was like one of the youngest people there. And she was in her late 70s. And she's doing this show. Yeah. And she comes out, she stands on this little podium, and it's probably about a foot wide circle. And there's a little strap that she strapped. And it raised all the way up to the top of, and she's singing from up there. And she gets down. And when she gets down, she goes, "What the hell's your grandmother doing tonight?" And she did this beautiful tribute to Sonny Bono where he was singing on a screen and she was singing to him. And they did a duet together using his old footage. And then it was neat.
That's cool.
But yeah, that blew me away because Cher is an icon.
Yeah.
An icon. And I've never been like, oh, I love Cher. But to see it was meaningful.
You ever see Pat Benatar?
Yes.
How is she?
Yeah, I saw Pat Benatar back in the 80s. And I saw her a couple of years ago with my friend. Oh, my God.
Good friend, huh?
I'm just like, I just had a total blank. She brought me and we went to the sound check and with about 20 people got to watch them warm up and talk to Pat and to Neil.
Nice.
And then, but yeah, I've seen her a few times. Pat Benatar, beautiful, trained as an opera singer.
What? Yes. That I did not know.
In her youth, she was trained as an opera singer. And then one day she looked at her mom and says, "Screw this, I'm doing rock and roll." And the rest is history. You
ever see Heart?
Heart, no.
Heart was great. Heart was great.
They have the voices, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let's see. Oh, Sandy Shell is with us. Hey, Sandy. Good morning.
Hi,
She's one of my podcasting friends. And Sandy, what is the name of your new show? You're talking about relationships, and I want to catch up with it. So just for some reason, my phone decided to respond to what I was just saying. I wasn't talking to you. Sandy, what is the name of that show? Let me know so that we can let people know. Let me see. Christina says, don't forget about Alanis Morissette.
Yeah.
In a great female section.
I've never seen her in concert, but she has a very powerful voice. And I think that back in the day when she first came out with her big breakthrough, that would have been phenomenal.
She was a storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
She's like the female Bob Dylan. Just everything is meaningful. What she says tells a story and a very unique voice.
Mm-hmm.
You know who else had a really unique voice that only came out for a short period of time? Edie Brickell.
Yes.
Remember her? Edie Brickell and the New Bohemians? And
What I Am. Very short. Yeah, What I Am. That was a very short stint.
She was married to Paul Simon.
Yes, she was.
I don't know if
they
still.
I don't know. That I don't know.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Sandy agrees with you that Sandy Shell says Heart is the best. So she agrees with
I've seen Asia in concert.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of Guns N' Roses,
all right, so
Whitesnake.
Okay, I don't know why this won't stop. Something we're saying is making my phone say
Motley Crue.
Motley Crue.
I saw them, Motley Crue, back in the day. And then I saw them not too long ago, within the past 10 years, down at the Hard Rock. Yeah. It was very hard to watch. It was hard to watch them and to watch Whitesnake because I love Whitesnake.
Could they still hit the notes in Whitesnake, or did they drop it?
No,
they dropped the notes.
No, It was rough on both Motley Crue and Whitesnake. It was rough to watch, but I love the music, so
Okay, let me see. Sandy, she's doing a dating show from. All right, I'm not sure what exactly you mean there, but we'll get back to that. Christina says U2.
U2 is phenomenal. I've seen them. U2 is great. I saw them at the Hard Rock. I don't even remember what it's called now, but it was at the Hard Rock Stadium back in the day. during New Year's. It was a
Isn't
New
it
Year's
still the
Eve
Hard Rock
concert.
Stadium?
But they've changed name. Haven't they changed names so many times? No?
Well, no, I think it's still the Hard Rock.
Oh, wasn't it Joe Roby? No.
Oh,
I could be wrong.
Not Joe Roby, something Roby. Who was a kicker. They named it after. It was some weird thing. Anyway, any Dolphins fans out there? Okay. But any other ones that really shocked you that just like, holy cow, this is the best thing I've ever seen?
Foreigner.
I saw it during Jukebox Hero Tour. They had this huge jukebox blow up, and it was like this huge thing blow up in the background. It was fantastic.
Foreigner was really...
And good. They were good live.
Yes.
You know.
I didn't expect them to be good live.
I expected it to be an okay concert, but they really blew me away with their musicality and everything they did. And it was.
Did you ever see Blue Oyster Cult?
No.
I would have liked to see them.
I would have liked to see them. I would have liked to have seen Prince, and I never saw Prince.
That you mentioned this. So he had such a large library of unreleased works that they're still like in the process of releasing. So it would be really cool to hear some of the stuff that people haven't heard. He had so much work that just was never put out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We got Dennis DeYoung at Busch Gardens was awesome. Not with Styx, though. But when Styx was one of the first concerts I went to as far as big, real concerts. It was in Syracuse, New York again. It was when the Carrier Dome first opened. So this goes back like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
But Styx was the first concert I saw, and it was Dennis DeYoung and all those guys, and they were great. Cheap Trick was also one.
I never got to see them.
Absolutely.
Well, one of the first concerts I ever went to was actually at the Saratoga Performing Arts. I don't even know if it's still there.
Yes.
Outside.
Yes.
My folks took me when we used to live in Vermont. Hey mom, hey dad. They took us to see concerts. So who I saw there was Sha Na Na. I used to have Andy Gibb, and I actually met him. He was shopping in the mall. He was shopping in the mall, like I think it was the day of the concert, and he was shopping and he was in Baskin Robbins, and I went in there and he was wearing literally like a 3-piece white suit for like Saturday Night Fever. That's what he was wearing. And I went up and I was too shy. I just couldn't even. But yeah, we saw Barry Manilow. I
used to love Barry Manilow. Yeah.
So yeah, my days of going to concerts started way back in the 70s, thanks to my parents.
See, I was at Saratoga Performing Arts Center, which is what they call SPAC, I think. Yeah, the SPAC. And a bunch of us took our motorcycles, including my mom was with us, and she had she had her bike or whatever. We had, I think Karen was with us on that trip, and we all went out there to see Bob Seger.
Oh my gosh, that must have been phenomenal. I think it was my
mom who got in trouble by the cops because she was climbing a tree to see better. Ooh. And she got get down
Karen
here.
And Sandy.
And some of us were not real pleasant looking biker people. We had some very, you weren't
the clean cut.
No, some of us were, and some of us were just the big beards, David and Denny and a bunch of guys. And Mike,
who else did you see at SPAC that you remember?
SPAC that I remember, Doobie Brothers.
What?
Yep. Doobie Brothers, one of their last concerts that they did.
Did you see Daryl Hall & Oates? Yes.
Never saw Hall & Oates.
I would have liked.
Would have loved to.
Yes.
It's a shame they didn't get along. Never saw Simon and Garfunkel. Wish I did. Crosby, Stills and Nash saw him a bunch of times. Neil Young saw him. I'm going to tell you the most surprising, probably still the best concert I ever went to. In Kiss, fantastic. Queen, all those guys, fantastic concerts. The Monkees' 25th anniversary tour.
I was not expecting that.
They had the Monkees. They had Herman's Hermits, the Grassroots, Gary Puckett and Union Gap all together. And they'd all come out and do their songs and then go back. And it was just like this trip through the past. And the Monkees came out. Now, Mike Nesmith was not with them. The three Monkees were there. But Mike, he was the most experienced musician out of all of them. Well, Peter Tork was pretty close. But his mother invented Whiteout. I'm not sure if you're aware of that.
What?
Mike Nesmith from the Monkees. His mother invented Whiteout.
Whiteout.
So he had a fortune.
Okay.
He had a fortune. But they came out and they started singing "Here We Come Walking Down the Street," and they're singing the monkey song, and it started skipping. You know, every time, and it started skipping. And so Mickey Dolenz walks off stage, comes back with a big stick of dynamite, pushes one of the speakers out of the way, and you can see a record player. And he puts the stick of dynamite on the record player. It explodes. The whole stage fills with smoke, and then and then all of a sudden they went right into Last Train from Clarksville. They were making fun of the fact that people used to think they didn't sing.
Mm-hmm.
They thought they were Milli Vanilli-ing the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't. I mean, they actually sang.
Wow.
You know,
and that was
but that was one of my favorite concerts because it was in a small venue, the Landmark Theater in Syracuse, a small venue, maybe 3,000 people, and it was just magic to have Hermit's Hermits come out and saying, "I'm Henry VIII, I am," and just the grassroots,
small venues sometimes are just the best. One of the smallest venues that I've ever been to, I won tickets. I don't know if anybody here is watching, but I was like the 13th caller to Y100 in the 1980s.
Do you remember when that's how you got concert
Air
tickets?
Supply. I won the tickets to Air Supply.
I'm all out of luck.
And bless my dad, because he drove my girlfriend and I to the Diplomat Hotel, to the Supper Theater, so that we could watch. We were the youngest people in the Supper Theater at the small venue at the Diplomat Hotel, while my dad sat out in the lobby and read a book, and we went to the Air Supply concert. And it was all much older folks.
Wow.
And it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so proud that we won the tickets and we got to go, and we were the youngest people in this place. And
our kids and their kids will never experience what it's like to stand in line overnight to get tickets.
Never.
To camp out.
Never.
To camp out in a mall and actually sleep on a floor or on a sidewalk waiting to get tickets from Sam Goody or from wherever else you're going to get them. They'll never experience what it's like to call into a radio show and win concert tickets. You know, I know they still do some call-in stuff, but they used to do this
very
like
seldom.
But now it's like call in and we'll do this and you answer a trivia question. But back then it was like be the 10th caller.
Yes.
So you're with your phone, a rotary, by the way.
No, I had the one on the wall with it.
Oh, you had the touch tone. Okay. I had the rotary, and I'm timing it, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, that's one caller, that's two callers. And then you hit that last number at the last moment. And I've won on the radio one time.
Has anybody else ever won on the radio? If you have, put it in the comments.
Yes.
We're curious.
All right, we got a bunch of comments we need to get to here.
Oh, my goodness.
So let's see. Samantha saying Lincoln Park.
Oh, I love them. I saw them. Samantha.
Did not see Lincoln Park. I hear that's good.
Samantha, I saw them twice. I took my sons both times. One time they were like 8 and 10, and the second time I took them as teenagers. So the first time I took them was with my sister. We saw them at the Bank Atlantic Center in Sunrise. Phenomenal. The second time I saw them was at the Cruisin' Amphitheater in West Palm Beach, and it was phenomenal. AFI opened for them. I didn't even know who they were. They were phenomenal.
If you can't tell, we love music.
Music. Here. 30
Live
seconds.
Louder. We love music.
30 Seconds to Mars also opened for them. And let me tell you, this was the most fun that I've ever had in my whole life going to concerts, because we were sitting in the third row. It was my two sons, my ex-husband, and I. And we got pulled up on stage during 30 Seconds to Mars, and we stood right next to Jared Leto's brother, who was playing guitar, and they allowed us to film from the stage. And this is back in maybe 2016, obviously before Chester passed away. But we were up there on stage, and I have video footage. And I said to my sons, I said, your mom has been to hundreds of concerts, and I've never been pulled up on stage. So the fact that I got to experience that with my kids, and they were beyond excited. And being up in front of 50,000 people with Jared Leto standing right there, it was amazing. It was mind-blowing, you guys. I've never experienced anything like that, and to the fact that I got to experience with my two loves of my life, my sons, it's an experience that I'll have for the rest of my life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
we may not be able to do another show because we're going to be hopping around seeing every concert everywhere just because we're such music freaks.
Transformation. Yeah.
My friend Debbie is with us. She's
Debbie.
saying hello, great seeing you. She's with Find Your Fabulous podcast. And please look that up. And she really helps people kind of rediscover themselves and find their fabulous and really to shine in your life, to shine out there in the rest of the world. She is fantastic. Find Your Fabulous. Go to YouTube and look it up. Great show to watch. Let's see. Sandy says Cheap Trick and Heart have been touring together for the last few years.
What?
Oh, if they're coming here, we're going. Right?
We're going.
We're going. We are going. Those tickets are bought. Sandy, if you find out they're coming to Florida, you better let us know.
Dream Police. I love that song.
I will get Debbie from Find Your Fabulous says I'll get kicked off of here when you hear my first concert. Beastie Boys was her first concert. Oh my God. The fact that they were a thing is
I love them. I mean,
really?
I did. I love them. Which
wasn't my group. My group was more of the rock and roll guys.
Yeah.
I mean, the kind of change over to the hip hop didn't really kind of transition for my group of people. But I get it. They were big.
So you probably didn't like Linkin Park then, because they were very rock rap.
Well, no. Linkin Park, I liked it because they put the rock first. I think they did.
Got you.
Musically, they kept the soul of the rock, but then lyrically, they added these pieces, which actually they did it better than most because a lot of bands have tried that.
Yeah.
They did it better than
I
most.
have to tell you, Linkin Park's probably still one of my favorite bands of all time, honestly. Because I've seen them in person and just because I remember when they first came out, I heard there's just Meteora. I mean, just blew my mind. Just Hybrid Theory. Oh my gosh. Everything that they put out just blew my mind. And seeing them in concert twice, and they didn't fail. I mean, they were phenomenal. They were just amazing musicians all around.
So Karen just confirmed she was on that trip to see Bob Seger as well.
Nice,
back.
Karen.
We all went on our motorcycles, spent it.
How fun!
You know, you sit out on the grass and you watch.
Yes.
And it's just Saratoga Performing Arts Center up in central or upstate New York. I'm not sure where you count that being. Is it upstate or central? Where it is? I think it's upstate. But great performing center, Saratoga, New York. Let's see. Sandy Shell says she loves the Monkees. Sandy Mom says the Monkees at the Landmark. She was there with me.
Nice.
It was her, my stepdad, me, and my either one of my wives or one of my girlfriends. I'm not sure which one. Sure. They didn't occur at the same time. Wives and girlfriend. Karen saying Meatloaf.
Oh my gosh, my dad would have loved to see Meatloaf. My dad, that was one of my dad. I don't know if it still is. Dad,
I never saw him.
If you're watching and you know how to comment, please put down there. You still love Meatloaf.
Yeah, I mean,
Bat Out of Hell.
Listen, I love Meatloaf for dinner, and I love Meatloaf on the stereo. I love Meatloaf. It was a big part. It was Meatloaf. Bat Out of Hell album to me made me think of music differently because I liked Bat Out of Hell was it. Then they had the Paradise by the Dashboard Light.
It's very rock
which was
opera.
Awesome for skate rink at the skating rink. We'd do that. Then he'd do like 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad and things like that. And I'm like, this guy keeps transitioning. But it was always very operatic, but hard too. So it was just, it kind of changed some things that I saw in music. But it was big at the time. You know, he kind of dropped off. One of the biggest reasons he dropped off was his voice couldn't do what it used to do. And I mean, he lost the ability to sing that stuff pretty early on. It wasn't like at the very end. Because, oh my God, the pipes he had.
Yeah, phenomenal. Speaking of rock opera, have you ever watched, gosh, I'm trying to think of the name. No, they're not really rock opera. I can't think.
Sandy's saying, awesome. Air Supply, the best for roller skating songs. No. I guess if you're just going to do the couple skates, then yes, I'd agree with you. She also said, I love Pitbull, one of my favorite concerts. Do you ever see Pitbull yet?
No, but I like the music to dance to.
I love his music. Paul Rogers.
The Cure. I love The Cure.
I guess there's rock cruises you can go on too. The Cure, yeah, that goes back a ways.
I do. I love The Cure. I saw them in concert. They were phenomenal. I used to love The Cult when they first came out. I loved them. They were like,
The Cult, Blue Oyster Cult.
Nope, just The Cult. They were very hard rock.
Oh, I didn't know that.
English, yeah. So I like them. I miss Stained. You remember Stained when Stained first came out? But the lead singer, he's kind of a jerk and he's gone country. And I saw him when he was down here promoting his country work, and he wasn't nice to the crowd.
Some of these guys, some people crossed over to country well, some didn't.
Yeah.
Like Snoop Dogg trying country didn't work.
What? He did?
He tried country.
I didn't know that.
Then Darius Rucker from Hootie and the Blowfish actually became a very popular and very successful country star. There's a bunch of others that tried to go over to country and do some things.
Yeah, but Aaron Lewis, the lead singer of Stain, when he started going crossover to country, he did a live concert out here at the Hard Rock, and I saw him, and it was all a cappella, which I love a cappella.
You can't hide.
Let me tell you, and I loved him, but it was so hard to get past with his attitude and the way that he talked to people in the crowd. He was just not a nice guy. But his voice, he just went out there. It was just a big American flag on the stage, a bar stool, his guitar. He comes out on stage. It's just him. He wasn't even using a mic at some point.
Wow.
He actually told everybody to shut the F up so he could talk. And he just sang, and it just was mind-blowing that the guy, just his voice was just that powerful. He's actually a phenomenal singer.
I'm going to tell you, one of the singers I had no idea his voice was that good was Huey Lewis.
Really?
Huey Lewis, I heard him sing a cappella as well.
Really?
He has an amazing voice.
Huh.
He did the Huey Lewis in the News, and he was all about that
very
80s
poppy.
And 90s,
yeah, it's very poppy.
Hit to be square and all that, which is great to listen to. It's great to listen to, but he actually has a much better voice than he lets out.
Did you see anybody sing a cappella that you weren't expecting, or anybody that stands out to you?
Freddie Mercury does. He'd always break off into some a cappella thing going on, which was really cool. There was somebody, but I cannot remember who it was at this moment. Maybe it'll come to me. But there was somebody I was watching who went into a whole big a cappella piece. And let's see. Oh, we got new comments here. Christina's saying Michael Jackson. How about Michael Jackson?
Oh, I never saw him.
Never saw him.
I would have liked to.
Would have liked to. I think he's brilliant.
Excellent performer.
I think some of the music he did was very pop music, but I think some of the other music he did was really, really good and important music. There's a song, Black and White, and it's just like he mixes the pop and the dance and the rock so well in that music.
Dirty Diana.
Dirty Diana. There you go.
That was a great song.
It was, wasn't it Slash who came in and played guitar on that? And Eddie Van Halen came in and played guitar on a few of his pieces. And most of the time, these guys says, we don't want credit. We just want to be a part of what you're building. So it was really cool. So we got Michael Jackson, The Cult. Christina's going.
Yay! The
Rage
Cult. Against
the Machine. Now, that's an interesting one. I like to watch them, but I cringe when I do. Because it's just so... I don't know. What is that song? Killing in the Name of. I love that song. I love listening to that song, but when I watch them perform it, I kind of...
You feel angry?
I kind of cringe. I want to kill somebody.
Well, Henry Rollins is an interesting dude. You know,
the lead singer.
He kind of branched out. Do you know that he branched out on his own? He was doing his own, I think it was on the History Channel or something. The guy is like super smart. He's a super introvert and just a loner, but he just talks all about history, and he is such a history and archaeological buff, and that's all he talks about. It was a show I was watching for a while. It was like, the guy is really intelligent.
Being a huge Woodstock fan and Joan Baez and Country Joe and the Fish and those guys who always protesting and doing something, he's kind of in that realm of let's sing against the system, you know, and he does it in a way that is just, it's good music, it's entertaining, But when I watch them, I'm just like, it's so weird. I'm like, all right, pull your pants up. Let's. You can wear a better shirt than that on stage. That's one of the reasons I love Nirvana's music.
I was going to just say, did you like Nirvana?
Looking at Kurt Cobain, I'm like,
are you going to make a sweater? I knew it. I knew he was coming with a sweater.
It was just a thing.
I never saw Nirvana, so I would have liked to see Nirvana. I'm a big Nirvana. I wish he was still
alive to see how his music would have evolved, or if he would have kept just all grunge, or if he would have been one of those bands that kind of morphs and changes. Mm-hmm. You know, guys like Aerosmith and the Stones who morphed and changed over time.
Did you like Stone Temple Pilots?
Yes, very much.
Okay, they were one of my favorite, and so
I actually got to interview them on a podcast after a show they did in Markham Park here in Davie.
You're kidding! I went to that concert.
You were at that concert with Ozzy and with we were backstage. We had a
it was the Monsters of Rock or something.
It was called.
Oh my gosh! But if you know
something
that, put in the comments.
But they came off stage and then they sat down with us and we talked for a while. We talked to a couple of the bands. We were supposed to talk to Ozzy, but
he was probably
showed up in a limo, got on stage. And then got off stage and left.
Yeah.
So I was able to stand backstage, and I was standing next to Sharon. And
how was that?
And watch it. It's not like I talked to her.
Yeah.
And I was kind of nervous.
I
think it'd be easier to talk to Ozzy than it would be to talk to Sharon.
If you couldn't understand anything that he says.
I'm just not scared of him. If she raises her voice, I think I'd probably pee a little and faint. I mean, she's that powerful.
But what was it like interviewing them?
Interviewing Stone Temple Pilots, very down to earth, all about
was
music.
Scott coherent? The lead singer, Scott Weiland, was he coherent? Do you remember?
He was.
That poor guy.
He didn't speak. It was one of the guitarists that spoke, or the bassist, or somebody was like doing most of the speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. He just kind of sat there a little bit. I'll have to look up the old footage.
Gosh, they were phenomenal. They talk about going to the gym and wearing, I had my Walkman at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm listening to Dead and Bloated and all of the songs that I just loved by them. And I actually got to see Scott Weiland back about 10 years ago now, before he passed away, obviously, at Revolution Live. And it was really sad because he came out and he was just a shell of a person. He couldn't barely even speak, let alone sing. Wow. It was very rough to watch. Then finally, by the second or third song, he seemed to be more coherent. I don't know if he was starting to sober up or what, but it was really hard to watch.
It was, I'll tell you, with Ozzy just talking about it, I keep thinking he's going to stand up there at the mic and he's going to go, he's just going to, but then he belts out Mr. Crowley. He belts, or Mrs. Crowley, Mr. Crowley. He belts out all these songs and Iron Man and unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to
yes, barely.
My favorite story is somebody robbed his house. This was probably about 15 years ago. Somebody broke in and was robbing Ozzy's house, and Ozzy apprehended him and caught him. How slow do you have to be caught by Ozzy Osbourne? I just want, if you're going to be a cat burglar or somebody who robs houses, if you cannot outrun Ozzy Osbourne, change your occupation.
You mean out-shuffle?
My God. I mean, what was, stop. And it was like the old Frankenstein movies. Remember the old Frankenstein? And I'm like, how are people getting caught by this? How are people, they're running through the woods. He never breaks. Ozzy and him could have a great marathon, 5 miles in 18 and a half hours. But yeah, it was so funny. I want to bring up real quick because we're actually getting to the end of the show.
What? Already?
I know. And we could go hours, but we're going to save stuff for next week. We're probably going to have to do music part 2 next week just so we can finish it out. And we want you guys to join us for that. That's where we're going to do some trivia as well and have some fun with that. Okay. And we'll do music part 2. And then we have guests coming up that we're going to be talking to. We're going to be doing a lot of great things, including your Live Louder merch. We're going to have t-shirts and hats. Yay! And maybe we'll even do some giveaways every once in a while. So we're going to We're going to have some fun with this. But why are we talking about music, Melody?
Because it's what motivates and inspires us.
Absolutely. It's heart healthy. Do you realize it's heart healthy?
Mm-hmm.
Because it gets things moving. It can reduce heart rate, lowers blood pressure, decrease cortisol, which is your stress hormones.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to music. If you're a little depressed, you're feeling a little sad, you're a little out of sorts, put something on that makes you happy. You know, if you're really excited and you want to calm down, put something on that soothes you. If you can't sleep, you know, don't put on death metal when you can't sleep. Find something that works for you. But it changes your actual physical body. It's crazy. It elevates your mood. It reduces stress. It relieves symptoms of depression. It stimulates memories. Think about it. When we start talking about music, how many things keep popping into your head?
Yes, I can go back to like the smell, this, you know, just everything that was going on around me when I was at that concert, right?
Oh,
everything.
And believe me, you don't want to remember the smells of some of those stadiums,
you know,
but
it
was part of the experience.
But you can remember everything that's associated with that concert, that musical experience that you had. You remember everything.
And if you want to connect with your childhood, a lot of people have a hard time connecting, especially as the older we get, really going back there. Put on the music that your parents listened to. So if you want to go back. So I put on certain songs. There's a song by Harry Neeson called Everybody's Talking at Me. One of my favorite songs ever. And my father used to play it in the 8-track player in the VW microbus that we had while we were driving from Wisconsin to Syracuse to visit family. And he'd play this song, Everybody's Talking. Whenever I hear that song, I get transformed back to that time. And I don't remember specific memories, but I remember the feelings and the smells and the sights and stuff like that. It's so cool.
Yeah, my dad always loved listening to a lot of doo-wop. He still listens to a lot of doo-wop. Little Rascals.
Karen Hurley
Temptations.
Says brain health, it lights up every quadrant of your brain, which is actually to Temptations?
Yeah, the Temptations.
It manages pain. Do you realize music can manage pain?
I believe it.
Because a lot of pain is about your focus, is the truth. Now, it does help. It stimulates, you know, different signals in your brain so that you know, the pain receptors are not taken over. And there's a lot of things. But the truth is, if you're hurt, and then you get distracted by something. Sometimes you go for like an hour and realize, oh my God, I wasn't even feeling hurt that for a while. Music has a great way of doing that. It helps people eat less.
What? I didn't know that.
Yes. Do you ever notice at restaurants like Applebee's and obviously not McDonald's because you don't really sit in McDonald's.
Yeah.
And Applebee's, Chili's, and all those restaurants like that.
I'm trying to think.
They play faster music.
Do they? Okay, you know now I'm going to be more cognizant as I go out.
You eat faster when you're listening to faster music. You turn the tables over by as much as 20% faster when you have faster music playing. Fancy restaurants where you're sitting and spending a lot of money and eating multiple courses.
Relaxing.
What are they always playing?
Relaxing.
Slow, quiet, calm music. So you'll eat slower and spend more money on wine and everything else. And
that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what they do. But playing soft music in the background and dimming the lights during a meal can help people slow down while eating and ultimately consume less. The faster you eat, the more you eat. And here's why, because it takes 20 minutes for your gut to let your brain know that it is satisfied and full. And if you eat your whole meal in 15 minutes, you're still eating after you're full because you haven't even gotten that message yet. So if you slow down your eating, you get the message that you're full.
This is a good reminder because I'm notorious for this. I'll just mindlessly, quickly just to get it over with.
That's why I stopped living alone. I mean, you just grab the plate of food, you go sit in the living room or you do whatever. I stopped doing that now and I sit at my table. So I actually have to put a plate out. And I got some really nice plates in China from Sandy Mom and Karen, and they got me some red plates. They're so nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God, I love them. So anyway, I set a place and I'll sit there and eat. Now, if I'm just going to have a sandwich and I make one sandwich and that's it, fine. But if I'm actually going to cook a meal, I don't bring a plate and start shoveling. I sit down. I can even watch TV while I'm sitting at the table, but I sit at a table and eat slowly. Drink water, don't drink anything else, that kind of stuff. And you eat less. And and you feel more satisfied.
Yeah. They say to just make sure you go to 3/4 of the way full and then stop.
And listening to slower music will help you to slow your rate of chewing down. It helps you to slow down how fast you eat. So
there you go.
And of course, it increases workout endurance. That's why everybody at the Fit Green place, whatever they are, no judgment zones, everybody's got their little headsets on, and you see people just bouncing to their music and lifting stuff in the air.
I'm listening to
What's your workout song?
Well, lately it's Skillet.
I don't know what that is.
Skillet, yeah, they're pretty hard rock and just very motivating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hero. You'll hear them in like stadium, games and stuff like that. They'll play their music to get you motivated and pumped up. I feel like, really elevates me. Anything that's really hard rock, I like to listen to. Linkin Park, I'll listen to. It just depends. I get in, moods.
Yeah, absolutely. I like things like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh, nice. Actually, I love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I don't, there is one that I really love. It's called Lunatic Fringe by Red Ranger.
Yeah.
Lunatic
Forgot
Fringe.
About that song.
And one of the reasons I watch it is because it was actually featured in a movie with Matthew Modine. It was about a wrestler. And he fell in love with an older woman and all this stuff. But when he went to work out in the morning, because he had to make weight for wrestling in high school, they did this da-dun-dun, da-dun-dun. Yeah, and it went into Lunatic Fringe. And it's like, ever since then, I'm like, whenever I hear that, it's like a pump me up kind of thing. Yes. I want to get going and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I'm on a treadmill, I like to play the music from Jaws, because I picture myself running from the shark. I picture running from a shark.
Only you.
No, I'm kidding.
I was like, what?
Melody, we're at the end, darling. Oh my God.
How could this be?
We've done an hour show. We've got all these great people.
Yay, thank you so much, everybody.
Karen and Samantha
Janelle.
And everybody, and all you people out there that are watching
Wendy,
replays
Mom,
of this show,
Dad.
because it's on our YouTube channel.
Gabe.
It's everywhere. You can still leave your comments there, because Melody and I will be watching. We will be watching your comments and
responding to your comments.
To them. We'll respond. Or if you have suggestions for topics for shows,
yes.
Just remember, what we're talking about is living better, living louder, having a better life. Stop being stuck in your mess and just be great. Stop waiting for something good to happen and go make good things happen.
That's right.
Right?
We'll help you find out what lights you up inside.
Absolutely. Maybe we'll do a little bit more music next week, and we'll throw some trivia in there, have a little more fun like that. And certainly any ideas you have. Maybe we'll start adding some motivational movies in there too.
Ooh, what do you think about that? See, I'm also a movie buff, so that would be great. We're going to
finish out movies, and I'll do some movie trivia just to get the show started. Then we'll transition into motivational movies. Movies that when you're done watching them, you get up and you're saying, I got to go do something.
Yes.
Anything. Like Rudy. That's a big one right there. Remember that one?
That's a oldie but goodie.
That's an oldie but goodie. It's not that old.
Wow.
Final words for our people.
I'm so happy that everybody's here. We had a lot of fun doing this, where I shouldn't speak for both of us, but I had so much fun doing this. I look forward.
It's a good week.
I'm looking forward to next week. So thank you very much for being here.
Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you taking a little bit of your time. Share this with your friends. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Download it, share it, whatever you got to do. We're hoping to get out there just to reach as many people as possible. And the truth is, we're not out there trying to change the world. We just like to bring a smile to somebody's face. That's really the big thing. People have done it for us in the past. We've already made great friends just because we've started doing this, and we've got great plans. We just glad you're a part of it. Glad that you're coming along for the ride, and hope that you guys all have a great weekend, a great day. And remember, in the midst of everything that's going on, treating each other nice is the best thing we can do. I don't care what you believe, spiritually, religious, political. Stop fighting about stuff and just start getting along. It's okay. We can have different opinions without having to destroy each other.
And can I say one more thing?
Please do.
Please be kind to your mind and to others. You never know what somebody else is going through, and how you can just with one word, one statement, one phrase, change the trajectory of their whole day, if not their life.
Absolutely. Couldn't say it better. I'm Scott.
I'm Melodie.
Everyone out there, take care. We'll see you next time right here on the Live Louder podcast.
Bye.